Hello, this is Lawrence with Foam Daddy, back for another amazing training video. Have you ever thought to yourself, I wonder what I should bring to a foam party? Just in case something happens. Or maybe you're on the other side of things. You're looking around going, oh my goodness, I brought way too much to this foam party. That's exactly what we're talking about today. We're going to be joined by a very special guest, Ashley, with Foam Fabulous out of North Carolina, who she's going to talk about just that. Ashley, welcome to the call.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I love talking about foam and helping people learn what they need, what they don't need, some helpful hints, all that fun stuff. So a little background, my husband and I are serial entrepreneurs, and I am a former high school math teacher. And between us, we own 4 businesses. We have a video production company. We have an online math tutoring company. We have a inflatable cinema backyard movie night business. And we also own Foam Fabulous, which does foam, bubbles, snow, yard games. We also do custom crafts. And that started back in mid-2022, around July 4th. We pulled it out and put it in our front yard for the very first time. And we did enough parties that year to actually make a profit. We paid ourselves back for all of the equipment. Thank you. And we actually made a little bit of a profit. So we were like, there's something about this. In 2023, our first full year, we broke 6 figures. So we definitely have done, I think we've done over 100 parties at this point. I don't have an exact count. I should look, but it's definitely over 100 parties at this point. And tonight I'm just going to share with you some items and tools and things that we feel have been really helpful for us. You do not need to go out and buy all of these. Some of them are nice to have. Some of them you probably already have in your toolbox. But they're just nice to have around for the party. In the middle of a party, you want things to just go smoothly. Or sometimes when you get back to the workshop, you're like, oh, there's a screw missing. We need to fix that. So that's what this is. And for all of you note takers and screenshotters, I am going to make this available at the end. So you'll have access to my slideshow and links to all the items. So you can go purchase them on Amazon if you want. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Lawrence, I don't think I can see the chat. If you see something, can you just interrupt me and let me know?
Absolutely. Happy to
Okay,
help.
cool, thanks. So if you have a question about an item, please put it in the chat. We'll get you answered as soon as we can. If you have a question about foam or something else business related, to respect everybody's time, please wait till the end after I'm done with all my stuff, and I'm happy to stick around for a little bit longer and answer anything that I can. I think that's it. You ready? Let's do it. All right. So yes, emergency kit and helpful extras. Okay. First, bins. I love storage. I love organization. And these bins are great. The yellow top ones, I think they also come in a red top version, but you can get them at Home Depot or on Amazon. We use the 27-gallon ones for our water bins. So we put 2 of them inside each other, and then we transport our 2 50-foot perfect hoses inside of them and our sump pump. They fit perfectly inside of that. And then when we get to the site, we can unpack everything and we fill up the water bin. 2 water bins inside each other. 1, in case something breaks, you're not dumping water everywhere in the middle of a party. And 2, if you have low water pressure or you're like unsure about it, you can actually set them side by side and have one filling while you're using the other one and then just switch back and forth. So we do that. We've also made one of the smaller ones, I think it's 7 gallons, into a dry box. So we cut a hole in the side and put a little notch up by the top so all of our power cables can go in. The notch right at the top is so that the foam cannon can go, the cord for the foam cannon can go in there. And then the hole on the side is for everything else. Speakers, if you have to plug in speakers, sump pump, all that can fit in the hole in the side. And then on the long side, we've drilled holes and zip tied the power strip to the side. And then everything can get plugged in, put the lid on it. It keeps it dry. These are great for your workshop, warehouse, garage, wherever you're storing your stuff. I just love organization. And I have some other organization tips at the end too. Cart. So I was not team cart for a really long time. I was like, it's like 4 or 5 trips. It's not that big of a deal. The can is not that heavy. This is my gym workout for the day. I am now team cart as much as I can. I can get it in 1, maybe 2 trips. I'm not lugging things around. Some of these daycares, you're parking in the front and going all the way around the building. It just makes the setup time so much faster. And if you've got multiple parties in a day, you're not exhausted. Well, you are exhausted. You're not as physically exhausted by the end. So I highly recommend a cart. And this one actually gets longer. So that's the shortened version. And then there's little buttons on the side and you can make it a lot longer. So you can carry a lot of stuff at once. Screws, Canon on-off switch. You know that black kind of twist thingy that turns the Canon on and off? We have had those come loose. We keep a couple of these at the workshop. So if it does come loose, or if we've lost the screw, but we've kept the black part, we can replace it because you don't want to lose that black part. Screws you can replace. The black part's a little harder. Screws to connect the tube to the Canon. We've had these come loose, so we keep a couple of these in our kit, like 2, and then we keep a box of them at our warehouse. And the same goes for these clips. You need this clip on the tube so that the screw has something to grab onto. Again, we keep a couple of them at the warehouse. I don't think I have one in my kit. Ooh, this is one of my favorite things. I love reusable zip ties. We keep several of them in every kit. We use them to take our barricades and attach them to our tent so they don't blow away or fall over. It's also really nice when we fold up our barricades. You can put a couple of reusable zip ties back to back and loop it around to keep your barricades together. Even if you're putting them in the bag, this helps keep them just together so they're not falling all over the place. And then you push this little button right here and they come apart. Love these. They're so useful. Oh, if you lose one of the clips that hold the barricades together, like to each other, you can just throw one of these on there really quick. They're great for keeping wires out of the way. You can just zip tie all the wires around your tripod with a little slack. So many uses they're great for just around the house, not just foam. Spring clamps, similar idea, hold stuff together. I know people like to use these to clamp their glow foam, the black lights, they clamp them to the top of their tent. Really, they come in different sizes, really helpful to hang stuff, hold stuff together, all that. Reusable twist ties, like the bread twist ties, come in a variety of lengths. Very similar to my reusable zip tie. Pliers. I do keep a set of pliers in my kit. I have had some water keys that got, stripped. So my water key wouldn't fit, and it would fit, but it wouldn't turn because the corners had been worn off on the industrial spigots. I've had spigots where the metal part on top that you turn at your house was just missing, and the daycare was like, good luck. So I do keep pliers with me. You can use them for other things too, but those are the 2 times that I've had to be like, I'm so glad I had these with me, because if I don't have water, I can't do my party. Screwdriver set. We do keep this in our kit as well. Sometimes you'll notice that the screws for the on-off switch, or the ones that are holding the tube in, they're just a little loose. Go ahead and tighten them. And if you ever need to change out your nozzle really quickly on the go, because grass happens, great to have this handy. And I like that this one's in a zipper case. If you're working on grass, it's really easy to lose those screws, especially if they're not brightly colored. Like sometimes you can get a white one, but if they're black or a dark color, even some of those silvers, they go under the grass and good luck finding them. So I'll actually put the screws in the zipper case while I'm doing my work. What else? Ooh, speaking of grass happens, sprinkler head. This is the sprinkler head that is inside the Canon when you take the tube off. If this gets clogged, you're not going to be making good snow or good foam. It's going to probably look more like snow if you get anything. So we do keep a couple of these in our kit. We also keep them in the warehouse, so we just have them handy. They're not expensive. It's a great thing to have around.
Can I pause you for just a moment on that one?
Yeah, go for it.
That sprinkler head. So I'm part of the support team with Foam Daddy, amongst other things, but I get this call from customers. The machine isn't producing foam correctly. This is one of the very first things we check. Ashley's 100% correct. Keep one of these with you. They're about 98 cents. Reach out to us at Foam Daddy. We can either add it into your next order, or I can tell you where to get them locally. They're not expensive. Do not lose a party over this $1 plastic piece. If you want to prevent having, and I hope I'm not stealing your thunder for later, but if you want to prevent from having to mess with clean that thing out, get yourself one of these. Now go a little closer to the camera. Is that on there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave it alone. Just listen when she talks about this piece, because you need one of those. It is an easy fix. What are they? $2, $3?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll be quiet. Go on. You're doing awesome.
No, it's fine, thanks. And if you go buy these at your local Home Depot, Ace, mom and pop place, make sure you get a 360. You want one that goes all the way around. These are for sprinklers like in your yard. So you can get ones that are like half circle, quarter circle. You want the full circle 360 one. Water key. At daycares, a lot of times they don't have your standard house spigot where you just turn it. They actually have a water key, or a water spigot, like inside a box. You have to open the box and they have a water key to turn it. I like to keep one with me. You never know if they're going to have it handy, know where it is. Oh my gosh, the janitor's not here and it's in his office and we don't have a key to the office, stuff like that. I keep one with me. And this one has multiple sizes, so it'll work on just about every single one. And they actually kind of get excited when you're like, oh, I don't need yours, I've got mine. Because they're like, whew, I don't have to worry about going to find ours, because they never look for it ahead of time. You go to them and you're like, where's your water key? And they're like, oh, hold on. And it's much easier to use a water key versus your pliers. You can use pliers. It's a lot harder to me. Plumber's tape. This is mostly at the office, at your warehouse, garage, whatever. I use it when I have some things I'm going to show you later that I attach the end of my hoses to make my life easier, some quick release and some on-off switches. Plumber's tape will help keep you from getting a leak. We had a Canon, I think we were testing it out. It might've happened during a party where I noticed I wasn't getting good foam, and I looked and it was glow foam. And I saw the glow foam trickling down to my sump pump. It was making it up, but then a lot of it was coming down. And I realized that I had a leak. So I tightened it back up and was able to fix it. But having some plumber's tape makes those leaks a little easier to fix, or just prevents them. I've had to use them on some old spigots here and there. So I do try and keep an almost not an empty roll, like a new roll, but one that you've used and there's just a little bit left. So if you ever have to put one on an older spigot, it helps keep you going. Also, how old were you when you realized that this is how you spell spigot? Because I was like 2 years ago for me. Spigot Bandit, also super great if there's an unusable, just an unusable old spigot. I've heard mixed reviews about these. I've never had to use one, but I keep one with me because just in case. Earplugs. Okay, we keep these in all of our kits. We keep them in our cars. We keep them in our company van. Earplugs. Fans are loud. Speakers are loud. Protect your ears. Protect your employees and contractors' ears. It's also kind of nice when a kid comes up and they're like, can you play a song for me? I'm like, oh, I can't hear you. Sorry, can't hear you. And then I don't have to worry about trying to find a song on my phone when I'm trying to do 18 other things. Okay, another one of my fan favorites, my sump pump on-off switch. So we switched from sump to inline, and then our inlines, I don't know what we were doing wrong, but our inlines were not lasting. So we switched back to the sump pump. One of the things that bugged me about the sump pump is that I had to open our dry box and with like kind of wet hands. You got to dry your hands off, find a towel, and then you're plugging it in and unplugging it. It turns your sump pump into having an on-off switch. So you plug the sump pump into this, and then this thing gets plugged into your power outlet, whether it's a power strip or whatever you're using. And then you just have to do on off right here. It's not like that. It's not like revolutionary, but for me, it just made life a lot easier while I was working. I don't know. I like it. It was worth the couple of dollars it was.
I'm going to interject on that point, if I may, Ashley. So a lot of these things are not necessarily going to be life-changing, revolutionary, but when it's kind of a sum of all parts. You start having, I've got the extra sprinkler head in case something happens there. I've got that laundry bag, laundry bag that's going to protect it. I got this little switch. I love the call about the earplugs. I'm sorry, because I'm the same way. What? I can't hear you. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Move on. Go. But I mean, all of these little small tips that Ashley's given you, they make it so that experience, that the ability to operate these parties is just so much better. So I think your point was exactly right. It may not change the foam party industry, but if it makes your life a little easier, why not? Last I checked, I think these were about $14 a piece. So
yeah, something like that.
It seems like a good investment. Anyway, carry on. Doing amazing.
Thanks. Laundry. Here's your laundry bag. Grass happens. This will help keep grass out of your sump pump, and then it'll keep the grass out of your nozzle. It's not 100%. Oh, thanks, Lawrence. You put your sump pump in this, you zip it closed as much as you can. You can put your reusable zip tie right where Lawrence's hand is to give you a little bit extra protection, and it'll just help keep stuff out of your cannon. It's a couple dollars. Again, like we said, it's not revolutionary, but all these little things, they add up to big, just sighs of relief. Okay, if you are using an inline system, one of the reasons we switched was the pickup at the bottom. I'm going to go forwards, then come backwards. This metal pickup at the bottom, this cost us a foam party. I got the foam party up and going, but it took me 30 minutes and I had to refund them. So they got like 30 minutes and then they got a 30-minute break and then they got 30 more minutes and then they got a refund. Because this black piece at the end of the tubing that you put in the solution, it broke. And I was having a foam party and then all of a sudden I wasn't getting foam. And I turned everything off. I'm so sorry. I've got to fix my cannon. There's grass in it. Take the tube off, open up my nozzle. It's brand new. There's nothing in it. I was doing this on asphalt in a parking lot. There was no grass anywhere. And it was a brand new nozzle. There was no grass in it. And I start panicking. I put it all together, turn everything back on. It still doesn't work. So now I'm like really, really panicking. Thankfully, my husband and I, we like having multiple sets of backups. I did have my sump pump with me. So I quickly said, screw the inline. I converted over to the sump pump and got back up and running. They actually liked having a break. They thought it was really cool that they got to play for 30 minutes, take a break, and then go back for 30 minutes. So everything was fine. They had a great time. But these do break. And what had happened was the bottom of this, the ones that came with our inline, the plastic piece on the bottom broke and it got stuck to the bottom. So there was no gap for the fluid to come up and in it. So it got stuck to the bottom of my container and no solution could get inside of it. We figured it out when I got home, but we were like, seriously, that's what it was? Yeah, that's what it was. So having some extra pickups for that, just throw one in your bag just in case. You can also get the metal ones. These metal ones are not available, the ones that we got. I did find one on Amazon, but it was like $20. So I'd probably just get a couple of the extra plastic ones. Make sure that the ending is the right size to fit into the tube. But we don't use the inline anymore for a variety of reasons, but if you are using it, you might want to keep a couple of these extra just in case. I believe you can use it without the piece on it. You may just have to be extra careful to make sure the tubing goes in the bottom. But if you do that, it is going to suck up grass and stuff. So got to make a decision on that one. But if you're at a party and the show must go on. So yeah. Extra O-rings, again, helping with leaks. I might have one or two of these in my kit, but I definitely keep them at the office so that when I get back, I'm like, hey, this was leaking. We need to figure out why. These are, I think these are like 5 cents each at the hardware store if you want to buy them there instead of picking them up on Amazon. Ooh, on-off switches. Okay. I have 2 of these in my kit. I put one at the end of my hose that's filling my tub. And then I zip tie my hose to my bin. Because remember, I'm using a bin, I don't use a trash can or anything like that. So my bin has little holes on the sides of like the lip. So I put this on the end of my hose. I put my hose in the water and then I zip tie the hose to the bin so that it doesn't fall out. And I'm not looking for it while I'm at my party. And then when my bin needs to get refilled, I can just open this up, or I like to actually keep it open part way, so my bin is always refilling. And then I just add more solution as needed. That's how I do it. My husband likes to get it down so that the sump pump has a couple of minutes left, and then he starts filling it up. Tomato. But that's what we use them for. And then I also put one coming out of my sump pump going into my cannon, so that if I have a group of really little kids, I can adjust how much solution and water are going into the cannon and how much is coming out. So my big kids, it's wide open. The grown-ups, it's wide open. If I've got like 2-year-olds, I usually pre-stack it and don't turn it back on unless I have to. But if they're that younger age where you want something falling on them, but you don't want it to stack up really high, this is great. You can turn it down on low, like halfway or less. So you're getting almost like a snow look. So they're not going under the foam and freaking their teachers out. Quick releases. Oh, and this is where the O-rings and the plumber's tape come in handy with the on-off switch and with this. I put a quick release. Okay, so you've got your sump pump, you've got your hose, you've got an on-off switch, then you have a quick release going into the cannon. That way, when I'm setting up, I'm not fiddling with any twisting. I'm just sticking them together. And then when I'm done, they just pull right apart. You can also put them between your hoses, so you can put them together faster. I've done it both ways. If I'm not using both hoses, though, then I have to take it off and use just one hose. So if you're always using two hoses, fine, keep them together. I don't use them there, but you can if you like that. Y valve. Don't really keep these in my kit, but I do keep these around. If we are doing a multiple cannon party and we have to split the water line, these are great for that. If your cannons are close enough, you can actually run you can run two cannons on one sump pump. You unhook the short, like the 5 or 10 foot hose off of the sump. You put the top of the Y on there, and then you put two of the short hoses coming out of the Y to go to your cannons. Make sure both of those are the same length though. And then you can run two cannons on one pump. That'll save you some power if you're not sure if you have enough power and you're going to trip a breaker. But also it just saves space. You don't have two water bins, that kind of thing. First aid kit, because yeah, stuff happens. And this is for me. This is for my people. I am not touching your kid. I might give you a Band-Aid. I'm not touching a sick kid. I'm not touching somebody else's blood. But it's nice to have a first aid kit around. Basic stuff, Band-Aids, earplugs, blister stuff. I think I have it in the last slide. Hair ties, because, hair in a fan. Hair ties, sunscreen, water, snacks, all that kind of stuff can kind of be included in your first aid kit. But yeah, it's good to have one in your car regardless, because you never know when you're going to need it. Washcloths. Great for drying your hands, because water and electricity are not really friends. You can also use it to dry off your equipment before you put it back in your personal vehicle. You can use it as a baffle. Lots of uses. Again, water and electricity. We try to keep them far away from each other. Screws for the tripods. Okay. Again, we keep these at the office. They are not in our kit. You can take apart broken tripods and save them. That's what we've done. I did reach out to Frameworks to see if I could find the size. So I found some that should work. You can also go to their website, and they have a couple of extra pieces and parts. But honestly, for me, the first tripod that broke, I would buy a second one and take apart the first one. And then you're going to have all the extra pieces you need except for whatever broke. That's probably the best option, but you can get screws if you need them. Excuse me. I'm in North Carolina. We still have like green pollen. It's bad. Anybody that's like north of me that's just getting into the pollen, I'm so sorry. Barricade connectors. We have lost these. We have broken these. Sometimes we just need extra. I don't know why. I use a reusable zip tie if I've lost one, or you could use like a twist tie and then call DRC. I haven't found ones that are as nice as the DRC ones on Amazon or anything like that. They have some. They're the ones I found were black and they weren't as robust as these. So call DRC, they'll help you out. I think I keep reusable zip ties. So I don't think I have any of these in my kit unless I know I'm going to do something funky with my barricades. Like I'm taking 2 kits with me. I'll throw some extra ones in there, but usually I just keep the extra ones at the office because we have enough reusable zip ties in our kits that you can make it work. GFCI pigtails. GFCI, yes. Okay, again, water and power, they are not friends. You do not want them to go better. This is much easier to fix than tripping a breaker. Now, you can't prevent all breakers from tripping. The story I was telling Lawrence earlier, I was doing an event at a Girl Scout store. It was like their headquarters and store, and it was an older building. The foam party was going on. We were having a blast, and then all of a sudden, just everything stops. And I had plugged in my pigtails. Everything stops though. And I'm like, what is going on? And the people that were like the Girl Scouts in charge started like going like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I was like, hey, we tripped a breaker. If everything is stopping, we've tripped a breaker. It's not my machine. It's not my equipment. We tripped a breaker in your building. So they had to go find the breaker box, figure out which breaker was the one that popped. And then they had to figure out why it happened so it wouldn't happen again. Turns out that the store was, they had one of the big irons that you just like close and like the heat press, and they were trying to put badges on someone's uniform, and then turning that on popped the breaker. So this doesn't prevent everything, but this prevents the ones that are your fault, like the water getting on anything. Much easier to fix. And also, we've been at places where I swear I saw an inside outlet installed outside. That scares me. I've seen ones where they are broken and missing and all like the safety features of the ground fault. So this just makes me feel better. This is the cord that we use and the reel. You want 100 feet and you do not want a thin one. You want to get one that's not going to melt and overheat. I think we recently had someone talk about that in the Facebook group. Bad power can make your Canon not work great. It's almost like, Lawrence, what's it called? The thing that y'all just started selling where you can adjust the fan with the power meter?
Yeah, what do we call it? It's basically a rheostat. It's a dial. So
yeah,
it allows the Canon slow down and speed it up.
Yeah. So if you get bad power, that's what's happening, and you're not going to get as good a phone. So make sure you've got really good extension cords. I have never found a reel that I'm a big fan of, but this one is like the least sucky that we found. And that just keeps things nice and neat and really easy to get in and out. And we do 100 feet because we're not piggybacking our extension cords. That creates another point of failure. We're not doing it. Oh, speakers. Okay. These are the speakers that we use for most of our events. They're EV speakers. They are rechargeable. If you were at Foam Universe, they did have them on one of the tables when we were outside in the courtyard. It was white. Ours are black. They are a little pricey. I love mine. We have them and we can link them. So you can do 2 if it's a little bit of a bigger party. These work for almost every party we've been to, either 1 or 2 of them. I love that they're rechargeable. So it saves me a plug. In the back of these 2, I think it has a USB so I can plug my phone in if I need to. They're really nice. Okay, organization. I told you I love organization. I have listed 3 different types of shelving that we have used or currently are using, depending on the situation. These are the ones that we like right now. Excuse me. Sorry, pollen and talking. Not my friend today. I like these, but there are 3 different ones I listed, like a small, medium, large kind of thing, depending on what you're doing. It's nice to just be able to see stuff. And we get the wide, we have some of the narrow wire ones, but we also have these and another one that are really deep. So you can actually fit 2 Canons on them side by side like this. You can also put the 27-gallon totes on them long ways. So you're seeing the short side and then you can label them. That's really nice if you get the deeper ones. Here's our generator. This one will run at the very minimum 1 Canon and sump. You can probably get more of that. And I'll get a little bit into this later. The problem is not the continuing to run, it's the initial turn on where it sucks up a lot of power. So sometimes you can get away with not great power if you stagger your start, like start one, and then once that one's going, start the next one. But this is a great generator. We've used it for a couple of different things. We use it for our movie nights.
Yeah, along with generators, I just already hear this question coming, and it's a good one. How do you know the difference between this? I think that they term it startup power and continuous run power. It's listed on the generators. There's always two numbers. Oh, geez. Okay, sorry.
You're doing amazing. You were that student in class, weren't you, Lawrence?
You're doing amazing. Keep going.
So it is listed, but if you want to make sure, and if you're putting all of them together, you can plug everything into your power strip and then plug your power strip into your kilowatt meter, and then it'll tell you what you're doing if you turn everything on at once. Or if you start staggering it, you can kind of watch it. It is listed on the side, but then when you start getting multiple things put together, it's not, the math doesn't always math. So this is how you can make sure that you're good to go. Water flow meter. This we keep at our office. Oh, this is also one we keep at our office. We don't take this with us anywhere, but if we're doing a big event, we will plug stuff in and see, so we can talk to them and be like, hey, we need X number of generators. That's going to be an upcharge. Or there's something called a spider box that you can get if you're doing a really big party. We needed one when we were doing, you've probably seen the picture. We did this huge glow foam party at a university, and we had a DJ, and we had cold spark machines, and we had lighting, and we had huge speakers. We got a spider box for that. So that's something that you might need if you're at a really big event, especially like a university arena, that kind of thing. They know exactly what we're talking about. But these are things I keep around the warehouse. Water flow meter, great for talking about how much solution are you using? If you want to do this in your backyard, just so you could say, I know that my machine ran for X number of minutes and it used this much fluid, this much water. I know we all have ideas, but if you're super nerdy like me and you want to know what's my flow rate, all that, this will tell you. It tells you how much total, and it gives you some flow information. We use it for when we're bulk mixing solution. We Lusk, what's his first name? L's husband.
Daniel.
Daniel, yes. He has the tub filler or the foam mixer 5000 or whatever he calls it. This is really great for that. We have our idiot version of that. This is really great. So we know I need 20 gallons of solution, and then I'm going to cut open my bags and throw my bags in there. It's really good for that. And if you're super nerdy like me, I don't know, I was a math teacher. I like the numbers. Water hardness test. If you're not sure, especially if you're doing a big party, or if you're not sure in your area, test the water. If your foam is kind of not foaming, it might be a water hardness thing. Test it out. If you notice that it is on the harder side, you can add a water softener. I'm going to give a shout out to Michael Mario for this one. He told us about these at Foam Universe. This right here, that way you're not adding anything to the water, because some families are really sensitive to different things, so they don't want you to add Calgon or anything to the water. This will help. If you have a van or any type of SUV, the cart and then this, we can wheel our cart, we can wheel our snow machines up these. These are collapsible. They're really lightweight. Love them. They're so great. We use them mostly for our snow machines, but now that we have a cargo van, we use them for our cart too. We can leave a lot of stuff on our cart and then just roll it straight into our cargo van. And they collapse. They're actually about half the size. You can see the little line in the middle. That's about how long they really are. They collapse in on themselves with little buttons. And they even have a nice carry case. They're super lightweight though. I think my 3-year-old can pick them up. Okay, lights for glow foam. We've gotten this question a couple times in the group. When you're doing glow foam, there's an additive that needs black lights to really shine. You can do glow foam with or without the dye. If you want the foam to really show up though, you need the additive. So what we use is a gig bar. Showed you the picture there. It does need a tripod, which is listed on my document with the links. I'll share that. It does need a tripod. It goes right in the middle. And then you can clamp your lights, the black lights, to your tent. But what we've done to keep it all contained is we can actually put our black lights on top of our gig bar, And then to make that work, we use one of these white power splitters and plug everything into the back of the bar. I wish I'd gotten a picture, but kids in life, I just haven't made it. I didn't make it to the warehouse this week. I'm sorry. But that's how we put it all together. You just need to make sure you get the right tripod for this. And then that way it's all together and contained. We like it. And the gig bars are really nice because you can make make it respond to the music. So the way they're moving has to do with what the music is doing. Okay, phone chargers, snacks, sunscreen, hair ties. I didn't put hair ties on here. Hair ties. I'll add it before I upload it. You got to have music. You got to have the energy to do the party, pick the things up. So having phone chargers, snacks, water, sunscreen, earplugs, hair ties, anything like that that's going to keep you going. Be aware of your shoes. Some people like Crocs. Some people like rain boots. There's a bunch of different options on your shoes. Wear them a couple of times before you wear them to a party to avoid blisters. But yeah, that's my final note. Make sure you have a phone charger so that you can plug in because you got to have music. But that's all I've got. Does anybody have any questions? Lawrence, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't know about adding questions. I haven't seen any come in, but that's okay. That's what's kind of fun about these calls. It's recorded and broadcast in the group, so people can come back and look at it. I guess that's one thing I would add. If you are watching this video later on, feel free to ask those questions on the post, and either myself or Ashley will respond to them. So we'll give it just a moment here, see if there's any other ones that come in.
Thanks, Matt and Facebook user, for joining us and commenting.
Yeah, we had a handful on. All right, I don't see any more. All right, so I'll go ahead and, this one will be a little bit shorter call, and that's completely okay.
Yeah.
As you all have seen, there's a whole series of them. I've got a whole list in my office of different calls that we're working on getting them together and broadcasting them. But as I get to round out this call, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to Ashley for taking the time to share all of this amazing information, and it was a lot. As she's mentioned in the chat box down below, depending on which feed you're on, there'll be the list of the slides that she shared and also a list to go out and purchase some of these items. But this is another great example of all the information, the tips, tricks, and of course, the amazing people just like Ashley that are part of the Foam Daddy community. So whether you're already currently in the foam party business or you're just considering getting into the foam party business, remember you have an entire team and an amazing community backing you up to make sure that you're successful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. I can't wait until I see you again. Have a fantastic night.